And the reason we're visiting is we have 2 girls from Germany, and they really wanted to see the States. So I thought, okay, let's drive to Seattle. And we're visiting our beautiful friends, Pavel and Marta. And yeah, we're very blessed to be here. I just love the singing here, the choir. It's gorgeous. And it's so special to be here with God's people from Germany, from Russia, from Ukraine, Moldova, from everywhere. And we're here praising God. When I was asked today if I could tell a story, I'm like, I'm not even prepared. And then I thought I'll just grab one of our books. God put on our hearts to write books for children. And so we started this ministry for children. And I want to tell the children a short story from that book. And this book is about being grateful. Kids, how many of you sometimes sit at the table and you start complaining? Yuck, there is mushrooms in the veggies. Over here. She's complaining, I don't want to eat broccoli. And her brother says, why are we just having water to drink? I'd much rather have a Coke. And the other brother, he's complaining, ugh, the red pepper, I don't like it. And their grandma and grandpa, they're visiting, and they're watching their grandkids complain, and they're просто в шоке. What? You're complaining about such delicious food? Kids, do you sometimes complain? Maybe you complain about the food, maybe you complain about the clothes, or you complain about practicing your instrument. I'm too tired, and you don't want to practice. Or maybe you complain about doing schoolwork, homework. I don't want to do this, I'd much rather go outside and play. And we complain and complain and complain. And this grandma, she watches the kids and she tells them a story about when the war broke out in Russia. And this is actually a true story. And this grandma says to her grandkids, you know, back in the days when Second World War started, my husband, my sons, your uncles, 7 of them, they all got taken away from home and they were sent to war. And they were left with 5 children. And they had nothing left to eat. And Grandma said, then we took our curtains off the walls, we took our furniture, and we traded everything in we had. So we traded a chair for a few potatoes, then we traded our dresser for a few eggs, then we traded clothes for food, and then we came home, and then we had a little bit to feed the children. But at some point, they had traded everything away. They had nothing left in the house to trade for food. And that grandma, she was a Christian, she was a believer. And that night, and I forgot to say, they had a cow. And the cow was going to have a calf. That means a little baby cow in about 2 weeks. But until then, what were they going to eat? They had no food left in the house. What would you eat? Grass? Bark? Birds? What would you eat? Would you guys eat that? I don't think I would like to eat that, would you? And Grandma said, you know what? We're going to tell God about our problem. Do you guys tell God your problems? He has great answers and great solutions. And so before the grandma and her daughter went to bed and all the kids went to bed, they were praying that God would provide food for them. And all of a sudden, they hear this scratching sound. Like this. We hear it again. There it was again. Oh, the daughter says, what's going on? What's that noise? And Grandma says, oh no, it is mice. Mice, little mice. they're gonna ruin our last clothes. We don't have much to wear anymore. Just one dress for each family member. Now they're gonna nibble through our clothes, and then we have holes in our clothes. And the grandma says, it doesn't really matter. If we're all gonna die of hunger, it doesn't matter if our clothes have holes. And they fell asleep. In the morning, Grandma gets up and she goes to her wardrobe and she opens it up to get out her last dress. And all of a sudden she sees something yellow. She opens her eyes. I can't believe this. What is this? She reaches into the wardrobe and there are tiny pieces of corn, dried kernel corn. And Grandma goes back to the wardrobe and she searches on the floor and she searches in the cupboards and there's more corn. She can't believe her eyes. The mice brought corn that night. And kids, imagine, they brought so much corn. They brought 4 kilograms of corn. And Grandma and Mom knew what to do. They took the corn, they ground it, they made flour from it, they made the corn, they crushed it. And then they took, listen to this. I would like to hear if you would like to eat this. They took 1 tablespoon of corn flour that they made, a big pot of water, they boiled it, and every person got corn soup. 1 plate with corn soup a day, and that was all they had to eat. Guys, think of what you eat every day. And they ate all the corn up. Took them 2 weeks. The corn lasted 2 weeks, and that's what they ate for 2 weeks. And then the baby calf was born, and they again had fresh milk to drink. So God sent mice so they could all stay alive. And you know, when they found the corn, they all knelt down and prayed and thanked God that He provided for them. And you know what, kids? This grandma that told the story, she got to be 104 years old. She survived the war and she grew really, really old. And she told her kids, oh, you better not complain about food because you need to be thankful for all the food you have, because there is kids in the world that don't have food to eat. And then this one girl, her name is Emma, she's like, okay, I guess. So I should even thank for the mushrooms on my plate? And Grandma says, of course, even if it's not your favorite food, but you still gotta be thankful for it. And the Bible verse in this book is, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of Christ, of God in Christ Jesus for you. And kids, I want to ask you, each book has a little strategy. So if you want to be ungrateful, you want to complain and complain and complain, there's a little tip for you. You tell yourself, stop. Stop complaining. And instead, for the S, search and see. What do you often complain about? You need to ask yourself that, what do I complain about? And then think. The T stands for think. What does the Bible say about complaining? What did we just hear? What does the Bible say? In everything give? Who knows, boys? In everything give?
Thanks.
Yeah. In everything give thanks. Be thankful. And then overcome. You need to fight against being ungrateful. Then you need to tell yourself, no, I'm going to be thankful today. I'm not going to complain. And then the last thing is praise and prayer. You're going to thank God that He helped you not to complain, but to be thankful. And each book that we write comes with a song that is composed by a composer from Germany. Maybe some of you know the church St. Augustine. and the composer is Harry Thiessen, and he writes a song that fits each theme. And I hope my daughter Marie's gonna sing one verse. Komm nach vorne. Komm. Mit Mama. Komm, Mama singt. Komm, mit Mama zusammen. Ja, komm. Du sitzt hier einfach. Einfach hier sitzen. Okay? Haltest du? Du haltest und Mama haltet. Ja, okay. Mecker, 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 Gemüse ist nicht lecker. Ich will lieber Schokolade pur, worauf ich jetzt Hunger habe. Da fällt mir etwas ein. Oh, ich will ja dankbar sein. Gott gibt alles, was ich brauch und noch vieles obendrauf. Icky, 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 ew. All we have is mushy stew. I much rather have a gummy, sweet, delicious, oh so yummy. A thought crosses my mind. Why not be the thankful kind? God provides for all I need, and a whole lot more indeed. Thankful, 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 Lord, help me to be thankful. Free me from my grumbling heart. Grant me, Lord, a brand new start. Hooray, hooray. God, help me today. To have a thankful heart is always a great start.